Hey, and welcome to another 10 Commandments for Your Mind segment. Here I'm going to go ahead and discuss with you the sixth commandment. The sixth commandment goes like this: Thou and your mind are a powerful force. Yep, you and your mind are a powerful force. So far, what I've been sharing with you is hey, you have a mind. Go ahead and build a relationship with your mind. Go ahead and be that guardian to your mind. Go ahead and train your mind, right? But now I'm going to let you know that when you commit to those commandments, when you commit to that relationship with your mind, you will recognize that you become a powerful force with your mind. Now, what do I mean by you and your mind becoming a powerful force? Well, if you can recall me telling you that our mind is the source of all thoughts, right? That's where our thoughts begin to grow. And we feel like our thoughts are always running around in all types of directions. But now if you put an intention to the thought, if you go ahead and put some purpose to the thoughts, whether it's to a new challenge that you're looking forward to, whether it's a new skill that you would like to develop, or any other avenues of life that you are now considering adding your mind to, your mind will, once you begin training with it, once you begin working with it, it will get 2 steps ahead of you. It will lead you. And that's why you become a powerful force. For example, if you look at this image behind me, I've been saying to you that our mind is similar to a wild horse. And now you know that you have a horse, you know that you're the guardian of the horse, and now you are going to train that horse, right? So now, if you consider with all this training, with all this guardianship and care and protection and attention and recognition that you have a horse, you will see that the speed, the height, the landscape that that horse is able to explore with you is going to be much more vast than you alone exploring the landscape. The horse is going to move a lot faster. It has much stronger, it can stretch out its leg more. The jumps that the horse will do is going to be much higher. The distance you will cover in this landscape will be much further. And that is why I keep using the analogy of our horse, of a horse being similar to our mind. Once you've tamed, or once you begin to tame your horse, you will see that you will accomplish more. And that is exactly the relationship that we can have with our mind. That is why I keep pushing this idea or encouraging this idea of how our mind is like a horse. When you start telling your mind, this is what I want to think about, this is what I want to begin to consider, this is what I want to keep learning about, this is what I want to begin working with. When you start saying that, your mind will go 2 steps ahead, maybe 3, who knows, and say, hey, how about this? How about that? Your mind will start showing you once you begin to show it. Once you begin to set up Commandment 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Commandment 6 is saying, well, then you become a powerful force with your mind. The best example I can think of in terms of cultural reference is the story of David Goggins. You should go ahead and Google David Goggins. He is American, and he's an American runner. He's an athlete. But he does go on podcasts and he shares his story. And you have to hear his story to believe that this is really true. All right, so David Goggins talks about growing up a little bit, lost, a little bit without direction. And his life gets a little bit more on the edge when he becomes 19, because now he's no longer in school and he has a job, a night job, I believe. But he knows he lacks direction, and he's very heavy. He's a big, overweight, maybe even obese, and he loves eating. And he talks about this very openly and frankly, that was his life for a while. He lacked direction. He lacked care for himself. He definitely lacked of the 6 commandments I've shared with you so far, which is he didn't know that he had a mind, right? He didn't recognize that he was a guardian to his mind. Anyways, once at the time that he's 19, at some night job that he had, life really hit him in the face, and he had to talk to himself, saying, is this the life that you really want? Is this the life that you really want, of just being sluggish, being stagnant with no direction? And somehow he took the effort to join the military, and they told him, you got to drop the weight. You've got to drop this weight. And at that point of his life, he felt that maybe joining the military will be the next level up. Maybe we'll show him a different avenue, right? And that was him maybe talking to his mind, right? Starting to talk to his mind, starting to commit to his mind. So the military came back to him and said, hey, you got to drop that weight if you want to consider joining us. And what he began to do is he began to exercise and run. He began to run and run and run. Maybe just like Forrest Gump. Next thing you know, he's in the military. Next thing you know, he makes it to some of the special teams within the military. And then even after the military, continued to run. And he is now a professional runner. That's how he earns a living. And what he says, when you listen to David Goggins, if you even Google David Goggins quotes, he will say, I have mastered my mind. That is the powerful force behind having a relationship with your mind. The 19-year-old David Goggins had no idea that he was going to one day become a professional runner. All that the 19-year-old knew was he wanted to get out of the situation that life had dealt him at that very moment. He wanted a little something more from life. And that's all that he told his mind. Hey, I want to get out of here. His mind at the time knew of the military. And then the military came back to him saying, go ahead and drop that weight. And he began to exercise, because we all know one way to lose weight is to exercise, right? But in that process of building himself, he ended up creating a relationship with his mind and became a powerful force. He's a warrior. You should go ahead and listen to David Goggins. He has very little sympathy for pity. He has very little pity for weakness, because he knows what it's like to overcome, because he has mastered his mind. He's recognized that he has a mind. He has taken ownership and become the guardian of his mind. And he has trained his mind. And now he knows that he's a powerful force. And he knows anybody can accomplish it, especially if somebody like him could have done it. Now, what I want to go ahead and do is go back to the introduction video where I mentioned that having a strong mind is beneficial in completing challenges, in managing stress, but it's also good in fulfilling or knowing your purpose. With the story of Sheetal Devi and David Goggins, I want to bring that back. Sheetal Devi and David Goggins, what they have in common is that they recognize that they have a mind, and they went ahead and developed a relationship with their mind. They went ahead and trained their mind, became a guardian to their mind. Sheetal Devi, at the age of 8, or when she was a kid, had no idea that one day she is going to be this very successful athlete at the age of 16 or 17, representing her country on an international event. David Goggins, at the age of 19, had no idea that he one day will be a professional runner and an influencer. All that they knew at the time is, I have to create this relationship with my mind. I have to train my mind. I'm going to commit to this relationship with my mind. The rest of it was taken care of by the universe. Both of them had no idea 10 years ago where they would be 10 years later. Everything else was bon occasion. In French we say it's a good occasion. It was luck, it was chance, it was the universe, it was life. So I would encourage you to recognize that when you commit to the 10 commandments for your mind, or when you commit to the idea, the strategy behind the 10 commandments for your mind, you may be developing a skill for the moment, but in the process, you are building up to what life may bring towards you. And that is the best part. That was the best part. That was probably one of the best things that ever happened to Sheetal Devi and David Goggins. All they could do at that moment was build a relationship with their mind, train their mind, and see what a powerful force they've become 10 years later or years later. And that's maybe one of the best parts, one of the best gifts that life has ever given them. So go ahead and become a powerful force. Go ahead and see what force you will become when you share your power with us. When you share that you have developed a relationship with your mind, you've trained your mind, go ahead and share with the world what a powerful force you are, because that's all what our purpose is about. How we can give back to our community, to our families, to our civilization. I mean, David Goggins' story and Sheetal Devi's story inspires us, right? So in that same way, I'm going to go ahead and end the sixth commandment and have you consider, what kind of a powerful force do you think life is waiting to gift you? Want more of Preach with Prag? How about you go ahead and subscribe to our Rise and Shine to Your Purpose newsletter, available only on preachwithprag.com. Here I'll provide you a weekly message to guide you throughout the week and check in with you with a wellness questionnaire. So what are you waiting for? Go ahead and subscribe to Rise and Shine to Your Purpose newsletter, available only on preachwithprag.com.